Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm going to be giving you part 3 of What If Naruto Fused with a 12-tailed dragon god. Remember to get this one too 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Ono's Voldigo Reincarnation over an Anime King, guys, and enjoy that. And remember, if you're new, yes, I indeed have 4 more channels. All the links will be down in the description, so go ahead and obliterate that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. So without further ado or wasting any more time, what do you say we begin this new episode? Begin now, guys. So, the last part that we left off, Naruto found himself in a pitch black location when he heard a snore, followed by a gust of wind. Naruto was petrified as a beast, a titanic beast that was at least 3 times larger than Konoha, reside right in front of him. He was afraid as Naruto stood there, not knowing what exactly to do. The beast examined him. On closer inspection, it was something that he thought wasn't even real. It was a dragon. 6 powerful wings on each side, equaling up to 12. Naruto watched as the multicolored dragon started to take shape into something else. It then turned into an extremely gorgeous woman who referred to herself as a goddess. She did not tell him anything. However, she told him that she was here to help, but given her thoughts, that was not anywhere close to what she actually wants. As Naruto faded away back to the real world, she looked up with a smirk. She was talking to someone, but there wasn't anyone there. She said that this time, you wouldn't be able to stop me, and she will be free, and nothing will stand in her way this time, as she laughed psychotically. Naruto told his parents what he came across. They were shocked because there was no seals over his body, and they checked, but there was nothing to show that he was a Jinchuriki. So yeah, they were confused on what and how that was even possible. As the time went by, Naruto went to the academy. On his first day of the academy, he came home as his mom and dad wanted to know how was their day. Menma and Mito had a pretty good day as Naruto said that he made 14 girlfriends. Jiraiya Gigi had told him that if a girl liked you, she would become your girlfriend, so Naruto had said it out loud. Kushina wanted to murder Jiraiya, as Minato simply laughed it off, but he was very proud of his boy, both of them. So with that, more time passed as tragedy struck. The entire Uchiha clan except for one was eviscerated by their own. Itachi Uchiha killed even his own parents, leaving behind his younger sister, Sadara Uchiha. As things were really bad in her case, Kushina had stayed by her side and even made her stay with them for the time being. It was the right thing to do after all. It was what she would do for her if anything were to happen to her. She had no doubt that Mikoto would adopt her children. They tried to be there for her. Naruto wasn't really friends with Sadara, but Mito and Menma were, so they were there for her, to comfort her and speak to her in her time of need, as she was incredibly sad and depressed. Unknown to Naruto, he gained the ability to sense and he could feel her emotions which were getting worse. Many thought that it was getting better, but it was just a facade, as Naruto could feel her true emotions which were getting far, far darker. He needed to do something about this. The day came when she decided to leave out on her own. Yes, she left on her own, as Naruto followed behind her, knowing that something was not exactly right. She went towards the forest, as she ended up using a ledge to swing over to the other part, as Naruto swing over as well. However, he lost her. She was running. That is when he glanced up and came across a rather steep drop. When he saw her at the edge, she was about to jump. Instincts kicked in as Naruto threw himself overboard and grabbed her. However, he felt a tingle. Wings made from chakra. Golden bright chakra exploded from his back and flew him back to the top. He crashed there with her. He tried to knock her out, as he didn't want her to try that again, but she fought him back. They fought until Naruto spoke to her. His words cut very deep, as she was able to understand. She cried right on his chest, something that was unbecoming of her given her natural persona and personality. However, he held on to her, and from then on they became friends, really good friends. Naruto did not tell anyone about what she tried, and he watched her for the remaining time to make sure that what she was doing was not a lie, even though he could sense that she really meant it. But he did watch her though. Something started to happen, but Naruto did not notice. Menma seemed to be getting upset with him more and more the time he spent with Sadara. So with that, months passed. Months turned to years as they grew at the academy. Sadara noticed something about Naruto, even in their spar. He was holding back, and for good reason. Naruto obliterated a tree with the golden aura that surrounded him. His body was getting far faster and stronger. However, he didn't want to be a show-off or show his strength that much, so he kept much to himself. Not to mention they would try to make him graduate early, and he would like to graduate with his family. Menma had came across that scene as he was not pleased to see her holding his hand, unknowing that she was just checking out his hand. The time finally came though, as Menma decided to make his move. Menma had been by Sadara's side as well, with the chaos going on, but he just wasn't close like Naruto was with her. However, he believed otherwise as he asked her to be his girlfriend. Several thoughts rushed through her mind as she didn't want to hurt his feelings, not to mention she liked him. But why was she thinking of Naruto when Menma was the one asking her to be his girlfriend? They were grown now, and the both of them knew what that meant. She agreed. Yet, her mind was thinking about Naruto. Menma was overjoyed. He was ecstatic, happy. So yeah guys, basically let's left off. You guys can switch across to the place, check it out for yourself. And also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other what ifs of the other channels. I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. So without further ado or wasting any more time, what do you say we jump right into this? Begin now guys. Did you hear what I say? Sadara asked, looking down towards Naruto, who was busy with his sketchbook. Naruto paused his drawing. Yes, I did. He then returned back to his drawing. She had no idea why she felt nervous, as she was in the park with Naruto, who was sketching a few trees. So, she sat down beside him. Naruto glanced up towards her. Is something wrong? Well, I just told you that I'm starting to date your brother. You have nothing to say about that? She asked him. Well, I'm happy for you guys, said Naruto. His voice sounded a bit unsure, as he wasn't sure what she wanted him to say. Nothing else, she asked him. Well, I wish you two well. Oh, okay, she said to him. She got up. Well, I just figured you would want to know. Well, thank you for telling me, he said. There was no emotion reflected off his face. Well, I guess I'll see you later. With that, she left. Naruto paused. Her emotions felt so uncertain and guilty, and a feeling that he didn't understand. He wondered why. As he gazed towards her walking away, Naruto felt something off with himself. He shook it off. Well, he tried to, but it reflected in his drawing. He ripped the page up. Hours of work, and now he couldn't finish it. He had absolutely no idea why. Strangely enough, when he got home, as his mother was happy that the two were dating, happy that they found like in each other. As she wouldn't say love, they were just children. And this was just the early steps. But relationships like these last for a lifetime and beyond. Naruto wasn't sure why his sister was giving him those strange looks as he went to his room. He heard a knock. His sister came inside as she sat down on his bed. She took his sketchbook away from him as Naruto raised eyebrow. "We need to talk," she said. "About what?" he said. "How are you feeling? Are you okay?" "Why are you asking me that?" said Naruto. "Well, you heard, right? About Menma and Sadara." "Yes, I heard." "What about it?" "They're dating." "Yes," said Naruto. "But I thought..." "You thought what?" "I mean, you and Sadara have been so close." "Yes," Naruto said. "Wait, you really don't know what I'm talking about?" "No," he said to her. "Oh, well, never mind then." "Hey, wait," said Naruto, grabbing her hand. "What's going on?" She smiled. "It's nothing," she said. "It's just, you're happy for them, right?" "Yes. I think they are good together." "Well, that's good then," she said. "You can go back to your drawing. I'll see you later." She left. Naruto was confused by her bizarre questioning and reaction. It did not take too long for Menma to come to his room. Menma would not look him in the eyes. Naruto wondered why. "Hey, do we have a problem?" said Naruto. Menma blinked as he thought. What do you mean?" he said. As sometimes you can't really tell with Naruto. His words, the way he phrased them. "You're not looking at me. Is something wrong?" Menma took a breath, glad that he did not say anything that he would regret. "Well, I'm dating Sadara now, so why do people keep on telling me that?" "I heard," said Naruto. The reason of his voice was confusing to even him. "I wish you two well," said Naruto. "So you're cool with this, right?" "Why wouldn't I be? You're my brother, and she's a friend of mine. I wish you two nothing but happiness." Menma smiled. "Alright, good," he said. "Well, I'll catch you later," he said, as he gave Naruto a salute before leaving. Naruto blinked as he looked down toward his hand. He accidentally crushed his pencil into pieces when he raised his voice. What the hell was wrong with him, he thought to himself. Maybe he was coming down with a fever. After all, he learned how to control his powers, so why was he feeling so strange? Time skip. Naruto was upset. He kept on messing up his drawings. Every time he tried, he messed them up, and he was getting pissed off because he wasn't sure what the hell was wrong. And the bad part about it was, they were going to graduate, and he was in this bad mood. However, being the person that he was, you could never know that he was upset. Not at all. He remained docile and quiet. His tone did not show it. His face did not show it. They were gathered at the back. They had their written test yesterday. Naruto was sure that he got good enough marks. Today was going to be their practical test. When they first joined the academy, they had a practical test. Their score would reflect in it to show who was the top student of the year and the top student of the end of the semester. Naruto stood there. His brother's name was called as he made his way. He made a bow to the teacher, who was Mizuki, Aruka stood there with a clipboard. Many of the girls cheered Menma on. Sadara was calm. She did not say anything to any of them. As they thought, Menma scored extremely high marks. His development had, well, really shown. Mito came soon after. She too has grown as well. In all sense of the word. Her performance, her skills, her speed, her strength, everything. Shikamaru Nara. He was rather lazy, and it showed. Choji Akimichi. He was a powerhouse, but he was soft. Hinata Hyuga. One of his sister's friend. She was good. A Hyuga. They were trained at an early age, so she was able to hold her own. Sadara was called up there. She seemed to have a huge gap between when she just started and now. Given the actions that led her to this path, it had pushed her constantly, time and time again. Naruto made his way up there. Usually, he held back, of course, because he realized that he was getting unusually strong. However, he was so pissed off and frustrated that he let a bit more than he wanted to slip. Alright. Begin, Aruka said. Mizuki was the one that charged forward. Naruto was supposed to deflect his attack. The man was not coming at full force. However, when Naruto deflected his attack, time itself was slow. Or perhaps Mizuki was the one that was slow. Naruto, with all the aggression and the rage that he's been feeling recently, it came out by accident. His fist made contact with Mizuki's stomach and twists. Everyone was baffled. Mizuki was blasted. He slammed into the fence, his body almost going through it. As his head leaned over to the side, Naruto's eyes widened as he looked down towards his fist. Time skip. Naruto was in a room, waiting. He heard the reports. Mizuki had several broken bones, 6 broken ribs, and one of them had broken away, so it almost affected his insides, but the doctors were able to catch it just in time. The door opened up as his father entered inside. Everything will be alright, Mizuki. We'll be getting a clean bill of health in a couple of weeks. Naruto breathed a sigh of relief. Minato sat down. What happened, he said, trying to understand. Minato was one of the few, 2 of them really. Well, Jiraiya, he had told. So that makes 3. The Anbu that was guarding them that day, Jiraiya and himself, was the only ones that knew about what truly happened when those ninjas tried to kidnap Mito and Menma when Naruto lost it. Naruto sighed. I'm not sure, he said. I might have taken things a bit too overboard. You might have. So you were aware that you could do something like this? Naruto looked away. Son, what are you not telling me? Naruto sighed once again. I presume that it's the goddess that resides inside of me. She's not contacted me lately, but it's the only explanation. At first, I was using that strange golden chakra that seemed to come from her. But then I realized as the time passed, my body by itself is getting stronger, even without relying on that chakra. My feet, they're getting faster. My sensing, getting sharper. I could have done a lot more in any of the tests, but I held back. Why? Said Minato. Well, I didn't want to seem as a show-off. And I also wanted to graduate with Mito and Menma, so I didn't show that I had what it takes to go forward without them. Minato looked at him. He placed a hand on his shoulder. It's alright. I can understand your feelings. However, I need you to show me what you're capable of now, so I can assess it, but You will still be a genin, and you will still have the same growth as them. Naruto smiled a bit hearing that, just the corner of his lips curving up. Okay, he said. Of course Naruto passed the test. There was no if or but. He passed it with flying colors. Granted, his previous scores did not make him the top shinobi. Menma got that. As for the girls, the Kunoichis, Mito and Sadara tied. Before the event, Sadara was being trained by her father, and Mito has been trained by her father as well and her mother. And after the event, Kushina had helped Sadara out whenever she asked for it. The girls had the same coming up to this point, and their strength and overall greatness seemed to be equal. And that brought up a rivalry in the both of them. Yeah, a fun rivalry that will help the both of them grow. At the moment, Naruto was looking towards his father, who was a distance away. You can start now, said Minato. As Naruto ready himself, go! Naruto burst off at tremendous speed as he blew past Minato, kicking up dust. He skittered on the ground as he came to a stop. Minato stood there, baffled. He had no idea just how much Naruto was holding back. Strength test was next. Naruto gripped onto a gigantic boulder and sank his fingers into it and lifted it out of the ground. Minato once again was shocked. His son was just 13 years old and doing these kind of feats. Minato tests Naruto for the rest of the day, despite already having the plot picked out for the children and the team selection and everything that was fitted. However, Naruto's sudden true power could be a big change, but Minato decided just to go with it and simply tell his Jonin sensei what he can truly do, so he did not hold back in terms of his training. After all, Naruto Jonin sensei was someone special. Time skip. They were all in the class. Naruto was asked at least 1,000 questions, at home and at school. All of them were there to witness what he had done, and they were baffled. Menma did not seem pleased by Naruto's newfound strength. Mito seemed happy and excited, as she usually was. However, Aruka entered the class. He had informed them that Mizuki would be just fine after the accident. He gave them a long-winded speech. Through this speech, Naruto had noticed something strange. It was Sadara. She's barely talking to him. Since she told him that her and Menma are dating, he had no idea why. As he was going to find out though, Menma was hoping that him and Sadara would be placed on one team. Sadara was upset. She knew she had no right to be upset, but she was upset. This was good because it kept her mind off the festering hatred that she felt for her brother. Despite not being a normal girl, she was having normal girl problems. She can't believe that Naruto did not say anything after she told him that. He was like, okay, yes. She didn't know why she was pissed off, and that made her more pissed off. So she has not talking to him. The sight of his face really made her angry. And yet, when she looked at him, she didn't feel the anger. But she thought she did. Damn it, she thought to herself. As they were deep in their thoughts, Aruka started to announce the teams. When it reached Team 7 and Sadara's name was called, Menma held his breath. Sadara Uchiha. Kiba Inuzaka. Kiba smirked. He's gonna be on a team with one of the cute girls. Wait, she's Menma girl. He couldn't afford to be himself, as he usually was around cute girls his age. And Naruto Namikaze. Menma stopped himself from slamming his fist into the table. Two things. He wasn't on her team, and second, Naruto was on her team. Naruto was his brother, and he loved him, but Menma had a touch of paranoia that maybe the two of them will... No, that wouldn't happen, he thought to himself. Sadara was his girlfriend and Naruto was his brother. He would never betray him like that. And he did talk to him, and he said that it was okay. Despite it being hard to read Naruto sometimes, he did say that it was okay. Team 8 would be Hinata Hyuga, Shino Aberame, and Mito Namikaze. Mito was a bit bummed out that she wouldn't be on a team with any of her siblings, but this was good. She and Hinata were friends. Shino, on the other hand, they weren't really friends, but they could become friends. Team 9 was still in circulation. Team 10 was the Inoshikocho. Team 11 was called, and then Team 12. Team 12 will be Menma Namikaze, Sakura Haruno, and Ame Uzuki. Menma glanced towards Ame. He knew her rather well. Her older sister, Yujiro Uzuki, was taught by his mom. His mother was a really skilled swordswoman, and Yujiro was taught by her. So yes, he knew her rather well. They even sparred a couple of times when she came by his house, along with her older sister. He supposed his team was not that bad. Sakura was one of the brightest girls in the class, but she didn't have the physical strength. However, she can learn how to develop that. Aruka told him that their Jonin senseis will be here soon. Menma made his way towards his girlfriend. He really loved saying that. Pretty bummed out that we're not on the same team. He said to her, "Well, it's not like we're not gonna see each other. You do know where I live, right?" "Yeah, I guess," he said, with a chuckle, but it's just... "Well, never mind," he said. "We're going to become awesome ninjas," he said, rather happy. Menma glanced over towards Naruto, who had his eyes closed and was just leaning back in his chair. Kiba was saying something to him, but Menma was not sure that Naruto was listening. Sometimes he just blocked people out. Kiba came over towards Menma. "Don't worry, man," he said. "I won't try to go after your girlfriend." "What?" said Menma. "I already know that you two are a couple. Good work on that, by the way. So I'll stay clear, okay?" "It's not like she would be into you," Menma muttered under his breath. "What?" Kiba said, as the both of them got into a small argument until Team 12 Sensei arrived first. A brown-haired man. His name was Yamato, as he called for his team. Menma smiled at Sadara as she smiled back as he left, along with Sakura and Ame. Team 8 then came by, as Mito said goodbye to Naruto. As they made their way off, Team 10 then came by. As they left, Ino saying goodbye to Naruto. As stated earlier, a lot of the girls in the class had crush on him. Sadara had noticed how many of them deflated when they heard that he was going to be on Team 7. Seeing them upset that they wouldn't have him on their team unknowingly made her happy. 10 minutes passed by, and every team was gone except for one. Naruto got out of his seat as he stood in front of her decks. Kiba was just leaning back, Akamaru, playing on top of his decks. "Did I do something to you?" Naruto said, looking right at her. "What are you talking about?" She said to him, "You haven't talking to me." "Maybe you're the one that haven't talking to me," she said. "Well, I haven't seen you. And given where we both live, that's rather strange." "Are you upset about something?" he asks. "What? Of course not. All of what you're thinking is just in your head. Everything is fine, I promise." "Good," said Naruto. "We're going to be on the same team. What do you think of that?" "What do you think of it?" she said. "Well, I'm glad that I'm on a team with someone I know well." "You're my friend," he said. "However, I'm not fond of Kiba," Naruto said rather loud. There was something else about him sometimes. He just spoke what was on his mind. It didn't matter if it affected the people around him. What was that? Kiba said. I said, I'm not fond of you, said Naruto. Tch, are you still upset about that? Kiba said. Given the fact that Naruto was weak in the past, Kiba was one of them that had been a bully. Not that big of a bully, but he was just an very arrogant person that pissed Naruto off. But like usual, Naruto emotions are so concealed that many people won't even know. Yes, I am, said Naruto. I hate people that look down upon others just because they're not as strong as them. Come on, we were just kids, Kiba said, and you've changed a lot now. Yes, I have, but you don't seem to have changed. And I am a lot stronger than you now. And I'm not even going to render your upset look with a response because you know that as well. And yet, I don't see it fit to hold it over your head. However, if we're going to be on a team, we need to be teammates. So, it's forgotten, said Naruto. Kiba blinked. Just like that, said Naruto. Kiba looked towards Sadara. Naruto is a complicated person. So trust me, when he says just like that, it's just like that, she said. Alright, I'll take your word for it. So where the hell is our sensei? They had to wait another full 30 minutes. The moment the door opened, Naruto spoke. I'm not surprised it's you, given how long it took you to get here. It's nice to see you again, Naruto. The copy ninja Kakashi Hatake said as he entered the class. With an eye smile. Well then, meet me on the roof. With that he was gone. The group made their way towards said roof as they sat down in front of him. Alright. Why don't we begin this with a bit of an introduction? Tell me about yourself. Likes, hobbies, dislikes, goals, dreams for the future. Why don't you start, he said, looking towards Kiba's Akamaru barked. Fine. I'm Kiba Inuzaka, he said. I like my partner Akamaru. I like training, learning new combos and jutsu with Akamaru. And I also like meat. Nicely cooked meat. Like steak mostly. I dislike people who do not like dogs. And my dream? Well, it's rather simple. I'm gonna make my name be plastered on that mountain. I'm gonna be the next Hokage, he said. Naruto did not know that was his goal or even dream. But he did not comment on it. Why don't you go next, Kakashi said, looking towards Sadara. There is many things I wish to accomplish before my life is over on this mortal plane, she said, taking on a serious tone. I like a couple of things, but I also dislike a couple of things as well. So I suppose it's equal. One of my dreams is to find a certain someone and make them pay for what they did. And I also intend to rebuild the Uchiha clan and make it greater than before, with me as the leader, she said. Kakashi nodded towards her as he looked towards Naruto. Don't you already know me, said Naruto. Yes, I do, but everyone had to go, so you're next. Fine. I'm Naruto Namikaze. I guess I like to draw, and overall just relaxing, with peace and quiet. I dislike a lot of noise. I also dislike arrogant people who think so highly of themselves. And my dreams and goals, I'm not sure. I'm still trying to figure it out. Kakashi nodded to that, knowing that some people, even after years, did not truly know what they want to do. And given how complex Naruto was, it will take him a while, Kakashi figured. Kakashi then decided to inform them that they will be having a test tomorrow. A test? And if I were you guys, I wouldn't eat breakfast, he said. With that, he left them. That's it. After making us wait for so long. This small tiny piece of information and then he's gone. That guy's really something, huh? Kiba said. Hey, wait up, he said as they were already walking off. No one was there to listen to what he was saying. Time skip. Both Sadara and Menma sat as they were discussing about their interaction with their team. Menma informed her that he would be having a test tomorrow as well. Their sensei was known as Yamato. He was a jonin of this village. She's never heard of him before. Menma knew well of Kakashi and how late he could be, so he was not surprised when Sadara had told him that. Sadara glanced down as he was talking, making him look towards her vision. It was nighttime as Naruto could be seen, leaving. Where is he going? Sadara said. I have no idea, said Menma, hoping to get back to their conversation. However, she kept on talking about where Naruto was going. At this time of the night, time skip, Naruto found himself in a grove. The moonlight shined down towards this area, giving it a splendid view. He could see his sketch pad as he started to sketch. He'd been feeling off lately, but he's feeling inspired. As he sketched the area, including the sky, gazing upon the beautiful, everything went black. As Naruto found himself once again in the recesses of his mind. He turned. However, he did not see her anywhere. Suddenly, two arms wrapped around his stomach area and held him in place. She was hugging him from behind. You know, you're like a human squishy toy. I wonder, if I squeeze you tight enough, will you squeak? That's not how human body works, said Naruto. Well, pain is like a squeak, she said, showing her sharp teeth. Naruto separated from her. Why am I here? I brought you here, she said. I've noticed that. You've seemed bothered. You've been watching me. Of course. I'm your friend, she said. I'm here to help you. You still have not told me anything about yourself, or even your name. She vanished and reappeared in front of him, stroking his cheek. Those will come in due time, she said as she pulled him down, making him sit in her lap. Comfortable? No, said Naruto. The opposite. Come on, she said. Just lean back and tell your goddess your problems. Maybe I can help you out. Naruto inhaled as he exhaled. It's not like she's gonna report back to anyone. I've been having a difficult time sketching. Sketching, she said. Just kidding. I've noticed, she said. Nothing is coming to you. You don't feel inspired. Yes. Given the fact that we're connected, do you have any idea what is wrong with me? Yes, I do, she said. Naruto turned in her embrace as he was facing her. What is it? Tell me. She raised a finger up as she tapped him on the nose. You're conflicted. Naruto's eye twitched at that. That's it? Conflicted about what? Oh, your brother. And your so-called friend. Why did you say it like that? Haven't you noticed? Ever since the news about them dating, it's been hard for you. But why? Maybe you like her. Of course I like her, said Naruto. No, you don't hear what I'm saying. How would you put it? Oh yeah, you like her. What? No, said Naruto. She's just a friend. Given your interaction with her, I would say otherwise. What are you even talking about? Why do you think you're having such a big of a problem returning back to your normal schedule? Because you can't focus. Your mind cannot focus. Haven't you been thinking about her a lot? That's just because we're on the same team. That doesn't mean anything. Oh really now, she said. Naruto got up. You don't know what you're talking about. And now you're being defensive. Yep, you definitely like her. maybe even love her. You're crazy, said Naruto. And you're denying the truth. Remember, I am a goddess. I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm not so sure. What do you mean, she said. Well, you told me you were a goddess, but you still have not shown me anything or proved to me that you are. Yes, I can tell that you're vastly powerful. Far, far stronger than me. But how do I know that you're telling the truth? You don't believe me. Well, don't worry, she said. Soon enough you will see my holy and godly power. She smiled at him. Now, take here, she said, and try to sort out your feelings. She leaned forward and kissed him on the forehead and pushed him as Naruto found himself back outside. Once he was gone, she smiled to herself. Slowly and slowly, she would gain his trust. Then, she would be able to get her freedom. As she smirked to herself, she couldn't afford to rush it or bully him into doing what she pleased because it wouldn't work. She has to gain his trust, to make him trust her, to make him open up to her. And then she would swallow him whole. As a wicked grin was plastered on her face, a devilish, wicked grin, as she smirked darkly. Time skip. What's with this guy, Kiba said. They've been here for a good hour now. Another 20 minutes went by until poof. Yo. You're late again, Kiba said. Do you have any idea how long we've waited for? Sorry about that, said Kakashi. As I was coming here, a black cat crossed my path, so I had to take the long way around. You're a ninja. I know we're Jonin. It wouldn't have taken you that long. Well, I was walking. Why? Kiba said. Let's just move on, shall we? Said Naruto. Sadara glanced towards him. She had no idea what was wrong with him, but he seemed to be in a mood. Naruto was still finding it hard to believe what that so-called goddess had said to him. Of course he didn't like Sadara. Well, he liked her as a friend, but not that way. Besides, she was with his brother. He could never do something like that. However, why was that thought now circulating so much in his mind? Naruto heard laughter in the back of his mind. Was she listening to his thoughts? He thought to himself as he shook it off, hearing what Kakashi was saying. Wait, there's only 2 bells, Kiba said. Exactly. That means one of you will be going back to the academy. What? But after all of that, there's a chance we can go back, Kiba said. You gotta be joking, right? If I'm joking, you would know. Now, prepare yourself. And also, come at me with the intent to kill, because if you don't, you will surely lose. Take that to heart, all of you. Begin! The moment he said that, they were gone. Naruto was racked with his thoughts, but he pushed it all away. He had something else to do at the moment. Kakashi was not being straightforward. Not to mention his whole not to eat whole thing. Why would he tell them not to eat? Now Naruto was feeling hungry because he followed the rules. Well, the rules did not make sense because now they had to fight him. Kakashi brought lunch. However, it was for the 2 that get the bell. Hunger, confusion, starvation. Naruto has never heard of a 2-man team before. His mom and dad had went over that. So why would it came to him so quickly? Teamwork. His father had instilled teamwork in Kakashi. Naruto knew about Ren and Obito. His father, 2 students that did not make it. So, Kakashi would want his team that he was training to focus on building each other up and helping each other. Now he see it. As strong as they were, Kakashi was an elite Jonin of the village, a man of vast skills and strength. Naruto was sure that he could maybe hold out with him for a minute, but if he wanted to, he would lose. Naruto took off, going to find the others. He came across Sadara first. He landed. Naruto? What are you doing here? I think I figured the exam out. Huh? She said to him. The two of them came across Kiba. What the hell? Oh, I see. So you two are going to team up and get the bell. And leave me behind, huh? Naruto shook his head. Friends don't do that to each other, he said. So, what's going on? Kiba said, confused by what was taking place at the moment. We figure out the true meaning behind this test. As the both of them started to speak to him, Kakashi was smiling to himself. They worked faster than he thought. He could tell that the three of them had converged. He was just now waiting. He knew Naruto rather well. Not as loud as his sister, not as talkative as his brother. He was calm and collected. The child was truly unusual, and far stronger than any of this year graduating Genins. And given his recent battle with Mizuki, a few Chunins as well, Sadara was a quiet one as well. However, she was also a very intelligent one. The past trauma has really affected her, he could tell. However, he knew a thing or two about trauma, so he could help her out. Kiba. The boy was average. However, Kakashi saw something that he could mold and make great. Team 7. They weren't going to be that bad, he thought to himself, as a kunai was launched to his face. Time skip. They were taken out for official celebration. When they got home, Menma and his team passed, Mito and her team passed, Naruto, Sadara, they passed. His mom was happy. His dad was proud. They made sure the kids know how proud they were of them and their achievements as they step to become ninjas of the village, comrade in arms with their fellow man and woman. At the moment though, Sadara was finding herself in a position that she had to respond well or things might be awkward. Menma was trying to kiss her. Yes. His eyes were closed as he was leaning in, as he was trying to kiss her. From they became a couple, they have not really shared any intimate moment. People their age, if they were together, they sure kiss, right? Menma and she had been talking about it. She has been trying to put it off. She didn't even know why. Every time she thought about moving on, Naruto kept popping up in her mind. She had no idea why. However, she was with Menma now. She was, as she leaned forward and their lips connected. However, her eyes were open unlike Menma's. Standing behind Menma was Naruto, a distance away, watching the both of them. His gaze was one that she's never seen before, a strange look on his face. Both her and Menma parted, as Menma parted with so much happiness. His first kiss from his girlfriend. Of course he was happy. Hey, what are you... When he turned, there was no one there. What's wrong? He said. It's nothing, she said, smiling towards him. Meanwhile, Naruto found himself in the forest. He had made his way off from what he had just seen. He was actually coming to speak to Sadara. He thought that it was a good idea to tell her that he had truly liked her. But now that she was with Menma, well, nothing could happen. He had no idea why he thought that was a good idea. Because it was bothering him. And the goddess was right. He did like her. She was right. And he believed that by coming out and saying it straightforward, that they could move past it, but what he came across was not what he was expecting. And he felt strange about it. Even his facial features that usually did not show anything was showing something. As he merely did what he always did, shrug it off. Time skip. Sadara came across Naruto the next morning as he was drinking some tea in the kitchen. They should be heading out soon. Oh, morning, she said. As she poured herself some. Morning, he responded. So, today is gonna be our first mission. Yeah, said Naruto. What do you think of it? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it's gonna be, said Naruto. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. Sadara did not sleep good last night. Why was Naruto there? With that moment with her and Menma, what the hell was he doing there? And she felt too nervous to ask him. She wanted to say it, but it was just not leaving her lips. Despite how much she wanted to say something, it was just not coming out. So she did not say anything about it. And he did not bring it up. They met up with Kiba as they met with their sensei. And then they started their first mission. And let's just say it was not what either of them were thinking. You're joking, right? Kiba said. Nope, said Kakashi. So this is the dreadful D rank that my mother spoke about. Exactly. Kakashi said with an eye smile. Now get to work. Chop chop, he said. As all of the kids were really pissed off. Time skip. Naruto had no idea what the living hell he was thinking. Was he an idiot? Was he some sort of moron? Why the hell was he going to tell her that he liked her? That would have just made things complicated. He had to say that was one of his most idiotic moments ever. However, from now on he's over it. Yeah, it's that simple. He's ignored many things in the past. So yeah, he's over it. He's done with that. She was a friend. Nothing more, nothing less. Keep on telling yourself that. Naruto looked around when he realized the voice came from inside of his head. So you can read my mind. Oh, trust me. I can do a lot more than that. She went quiet after that, as Naruto shook his head and made his way off. The next few weeks was hell. Cutting grasses, painting fence, carrying groceries. He had to say, being a ninja was not what he expected. However, one good thing came out of it. His inspiration returned. He's no longer stuck. Maybe it's because he took all of that off his head and simply pushed it aside. And now, everything seemed to be returning back to normal. Something that made him incredibly happy. Yes, he was happy to know that. So with that, they kept on doing their D ranks. And again, and again, and again, until Kiba finally lost it. Is this really what it means to be a ninja? Is this really what we signed up for? Kiba was complaining the entire week, as they were now residing in the office. Sadara was also not pleased. She wanted to test herself, and the little training and drills that Kakashi gave them was not helping in the slightest. She wanted to go out there and face off against individuals to see how much she has grown. This was not helping her at all. The only person that seemed to be calm about it was Naruto. Well, they could not really understand his emotions that well, so to them he seemed calm about it, but he was not calm in the slightest. Kiba outburst in the office, caused Aruka, who was also there, to reprimand him. However, Minato raised a hand. So, he said, you believe that you're ready for something higher? With all due respect, yes, Hokage-sama, he said, knowing that he had to play this right in order to get the mission that he desired. All of these so-called missions that we've been doing are nothing but chores. And if I must say so myself, I am confident in my strength to handle myself in the real world. And these two, I suppose they're not so bad. So yeah, I think we're ready for something higher. Minato was just looking at him, as Kiba started to get a bit nervous with the Hokage looking at him. To be quite frank, this is what Minato has been waiting for. This team has performed excellent. Kakashi had been giving Minato weekly reports on their growth. Minato also believed that they were in need of some real-world experience to start them off with something simple to let them see what the ninja world was capable of. After all, his son was also on the team. Alright, he said. Really? Kiba said with a sweat drop running down his face. He couldn't believe that worked. That is if Kakashi believed that you guys are ready. All three of them turned towards Kakashi. Well, I was thinking that we should do D ranks for another month. The really pissed off looks start to grow on their faces. However, maybe he's right. I think some real world experience would do them well, Kakashi said. Kiba was smirking. Sadara was finally happy. She was going to go out there and finally test her strength. Time skip. Really? Said Menma with a smile on his face. I guess Kakashi sensei is a lot better than our sensei. All he's having us do is just to run drills. I know that teamwork is important, but I mean, come on now, Menma said, as Sadara was informing him that he would be leaving the village for an undisclosed time. As for Naruto, his mother was all over him. I'm fine, Mom, said Naruto. I have everything. She checked his things at least 100 times. I know, baby, she said, looking over him. It's just, this is your first mission outside the village. This is a big stepping stone in your career, and I just want you to be safe. He simply nodded to her. She leaned and kissed him on the forehead. Be safe out there, she said, and watch each other back, as she was talking to him and Sadara. Sadara nodded towards her. At the moment, Mito was out on another D rank, so she wasn't here. So with that, they headed out, just the both of them. As both him and Sadara was walking, there was no word said between them as they were heading to the gate. Naruto was perfectly fine to remain in the silence. After all, he's pushed away everything that was bothering him, and everything was returning back to normal. Sadara, on the other hand, she was thinking a lot. He hadn't said anything about what he witnessed. It was like he did not see them at all. She started to wonder, did she actually see him, or maybe she was just thinking about him so much that she saw him? No, that was crazy. She saw him. So, she said, trying to break the what she thought to him was awkward silence. Excited? He looked towards her. I mean, this is our first mission outside the village. Well, I suppose we're gonna get to see what the real world is capable of. But this is just a C rank, so it's not that excited, he said. You heard what they said mostly. We'll be taking care of bandits and just protecting the client. Yeah, I suppose you're right. But at least it's a lot better than those boring D ranks. Those were just a waste of time. Yeah, can't say that you're wrong there, said Naruto. Seems like we're the first ones here. As they stop and lean against the gate, they were waiting for the client and their other teammate and their sensei. As Naruto jumped up and sat on top of the wall, she simply remained there glancing up towards him. He was doing nothing. He was just staring out of space. As she leaned back against the gate, the silence was broken when Tazuna arrived. Huh? Where are the others, he said. Aren't there supposed to be 3 of you? Yes. The rest will be coming. Hey guys! As they heard that and a bark. Speak of the devil. Sadara said as she turned to see Kiba rushing up towards them. Ah, you again, Kiba said. Their meeting with the bridge builder did not go off too happy. Well, he insulted them by calling them a bunch of brats. that could not defend the fly. So yeah, Kiba was still pissed off about that. They had to wait for another good 10 minutes until Kakashi arrived. "You're early," said Naruto. "Well, we are going on our first mission. I couldn't keep you guys waiting. You know, being 10 minutes late is not exactly anything to be happy about," said Naruto as he was looking into the sky. "I know," said Kakashi. "However, it's time to head out, so why don't you come down?" Naruto jumped as he landed, as the group started to make their way on their first mission. They were not aware in the slightest that this was going to be a big change in moment in all of their life. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see next part and do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notifications they posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. But I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.